Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, and yes, as the Southside says, a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Tonight you've been joined by myself, GB. In the background you've got your techie team watching the socials as well as our Old School Blue and Fox. And joining us on the panel is young Robert. Robert, how we doing, mate?
Evening, GB. I'm doing well, mate. Picked myself up after the weekend. Just.
No. Every cloud has a silver lining. And we've been joined by our legend keeping us young bucks in check tonight is the Bridge man. How we doing, Bridge?
Oh, magic, pal. Can I just say good evening to yourself, good evening to the techie boys in the background, and good evening to all our listeners all over the world listening in here to Rangers Radio. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well put, Bridge, well put. Robert, you kind of touched on an interesting weekend, mate. It was kind of a zero to hero kind of weekend, and I didn't see it coming, Robert, so we'll just dive right into it. Your thoughts on Saturday itself overall, mate?
Disappointed, mate, to be honest. Given the three fixtures that we had, I thought the two home games were the easier of the three games, if I'll be honest. I thought if at any point we would have dropped points, it would have been a tricky away tie to Kilmarnock. I certainly didn't see us dropping points at home in particular, but the effort was there at times. But again, it just seemed a wee bit off the pace overall on Saturday, and I don't know what it was, if it was a bit of pressure, a bit of expectation, or sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say that the better team won on the day. And that's the way it kind of felt on Saturday, that we just didn't live up to that expectation that we'd seen over the past few weeks.
Aye, so Bridge, again, just something I didn't see, especially with the home game with Motherwell. I mean, Motherwell usually is a hard game away from home, but considering the games that we came through with Hearts and then Kilmarnock, the Motherwell game was, I was back to that kind of time where you see Rangers kind of being a bit lacklustre, and like I say, for Motherwell, they seemed to prove that they just wanted it more on the day, Bridge.
Well, you know, and they did what they wanted to do, and they bullied Rangers in both midfield, even up top, and the defence was just shocking against them. Apart from the goalkeeper, I just think that there was time only at times in the game, but we had many chances to score goals. Boy Kelly had a fantastic game for them. Probably the best player in Scotland. I knew that boy, but based on his performance there, absolutely superb. So we have got a habit of making goalkeepers look brilliant. Possibly by our poor shots at goal, but the sheer volume of chances or shots at goal, maybe someone off target, but must have been a dozen shots on target, and that goalkeeper managed to do it, or a defender managed to block it. So we've got nobody to blame for that but ourselves. However, I don't know if you want to talk about what happened during the game at all. But overall, from a summary perspective, I think Rangers were a far better team than them at times. That's all I can say. The blunders that we made for the two goals, unbelievable. Well, when I say unbelievable, we've done it before. Blunders by key people in our defence. You can't beat that. You just can't do nothing about that. When the screw up happens, it happens.
Mm-hmm. No, Bridge, we'll dive into the game a tad, because like I said, I think last night the gang did. They gave it a proper good overview and some good points to take away from that. So I will come back to it, mate. Robert, Bridge touches on it. Like I said, there's probably factors in the game that didn't really help our cause. I know we did look a bit tired, but I see some of the decisions that was during that game. Well, we may as well bring it up. McCausland, straight red for me, mate, all day long.
Yeah, as a straight red. And what you have to remember is the guy who does the foul ends up being the match winner. So if that's not a kick in the teeth, I don't know what is. I don't know why. I do think VAR looked at it, and we could argue night and day until we're blue in the face about VAR. I don't have an issue with the technology. The issue I've got with VAR is the people behind it. There's inconsistency lacking, and over the weekend alone, we've seen that as well. So it was a game-changing moment, if you want to put it that way, because it happens quite early in the game, and if Motherwell go down to 10 men, they're not going to play the same way they played the rest of the game. So it impacts them, and it obviously impacts us as well, and not just in the game alone, but obviously that's another injury, a wide player, that forces us to maybe think of plan B, especially with these big games coming up, including Europe on Thursday.
Aye. Bridge, I invite you to let rip, mate, on the McCausland decision.
Well, it's utterly shameful. Utterly shameful. If the boy hadn't been lying in the deck for more than a minute, just for saying sake, the referee wouldn't have bothered. As far as he's concerned, he never saw anything wrong there. Doesn't that remind you when the guy punched the ball out for a corner out his penalty area at Celtic Park? Does that not Hampden, whether it was? It just shows you they never saw it, so they don't want to give it. Where is VAR? What's happening? Not the VAR never bothered with it. The three officials on the pitch and the fourth official never saw it. None of them saw it. And it was clear as obviously cameras, there was a set of cameras did pick it up. Nothing said about it. And strangely enough, the press haven't said anything about it either, because it was a Rangers player. So that's another Rangers player that's been basically put out of the game for whatever time it's going to be, for poor tackles. Shocking tackle, in my opinion. Shocking tackle. I know he took the ball, the boy, but you watch his foot. His foot puts the ball out for a throw-in. Right? That's what happens there. The ball goes dead straight off his foot, and he goes straight through. Nah, sorry. He was in there for to push the man. That's what it was about. Took a man. No, the first time.
Aye. Yeah, Bridge, I agree. Like I say, there's equipment there to help the referees, but it just doesn't seem to be that they want to use it the right way, or like I say, they're too scared to use it, depending how you read the comments that's been happening early weekend. But Robert, back to kind of ourselves, and like I say, I think you touched on it, mate, that we did have our ourselves to blame. That first goal, Suter's done this early season for some reason. He just doesn't read the ball right, and the boy's in, and it's a schoolboy defending again, and it's something that he needs to, if he wants to kind of get to that next level, then I think he needs to get this out of his game, because he's got this kind of daydream in him for some reason.
It did, mate, and it was surprising, to be fair, because he had been playing quite solid, probably one of the standout defenders if you're comparing him and Goldson of late. He's kind of won a lot of aerial battles, he's won a lot of possession, tackles, and then he goes and kind of does that, and that's a big talking point, because obviously it results in a goal against us. So you're right in what you're saying. He does kind of daydream at times, and does lost the kind of concentration of the flight of the ball and things in the positional sense. Another issue is once that ball comes in, the striker, they better take nothing from the finish. It's a good goal because it's right in the corner. Butland's got no chance of saving it. Anywhere else, he probably saves it like he did against Kilmarnock. But he's in that area where he's not getting picked up again, because Golson's trying to cover that Suter position near post, and the boy's in the middle himself free. So it does come down to overall positional defending, but it is caused by Suter obviously coming out far left in the first place.
Bridge, you wanted to add to that, mate? Were you, I don't even know if you were at the game, Bridge. Were you at the game?
I was there.
What were you thinking when you seen that move with Suter?
What we saw a number of times, what we saw was that Suter was, I don't know whether he was covering for Yilmaz, or whether he just wanted to go out there to cover him. You know, if you follow, I mean, I don't think there was any plan. But he got caught out a couple of times there. And of course, that leaves a huge big gap between him and Goldson, you know. So obviously, I don't know whether they spoke to Yilmaz, whether he was going to do these things, but a number of times he got caught right out of position. And Yilmaz wouldn't want to go back, because he's covered, you know. He looks round and Shooter's there, so no problem. He's there. That's it. He's got it. He's got what's happening there. But no, that was a shocking way he went in to try and get the ball. The guy absolutely bullied him, just bullied him, and ran right past him. Seriously, terrible defending. The worst type of defending you could ever imagine. Getting caught blindsided. That's it. The boy just went away and probably ball in. That's it. Ball's in the net. And everybody in the stadium sees what happened in that sense. But me foul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't kick him. You know, the guy never kicked him to the ground. He fell. He dizzied himself and fell. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think. I think Suter has got to waken up. Him and Yilmaz both, and the manager's got to see to it that they're doing the proper cover work and to get in the right position. Can't blame the pitch in any way, shape, or form. There's no way we can blame anything other than the player himself. So, we just have to say for him, it wasn't the only time he did wrong and got caught out during the game. But my goodness gracious, we were just poor. That was the Motherwell goal. The other goals we'll talk about. Jesus.
No, we'll come ahead. Don't worry, we'll come ahead. Robert, I mean, we're not getting stuck into Suter just here because I think the defence as a whole during the full game was pretty iffy. I mean, I think Goldson had a bit of a torrid time again with another physical forward. Tav wasn't great. Ultimately, let's say he got the penalty and got us back in the game. But it seemed to be that Motherwell goal was the kind of spark again to waking us up and try and, let's say, salvage it again. Different kind of thoughts on the defence and again the tail end of the first half, mate.
The defence looked ropey, and I think that's because they had, as you said, a physical striker against them, and it wasn't an easy, lightweight, fast player that they've been having over the past few weeks. The boy Bear showed how to play as a striker against a partnership of Goldson and Suter, and it's safe to say on the battle between him and they two, there was a point in the game, I think it's late in the second half, that Goldson, he's not winning the ball, but he goes down. I know people say there's an arm to the face, but it's very, very soft in my opinion, and I think that's just Goldson knowing that he wasn't going to win the ball. And that is the first time in a few weeks that we've seen the pair of them probably look a bit rattled with a big physical striker in front of them. And as you said, the goal seemed to lift Motherwell, and we looked short of ideas, if I'm being honest, mate. The final third, we were creating the chances, but they were not really as clear cut as what they kind of came into the second half.
Aye, yep. Bridge, yourself again, you were touching on obviously Suter on there, and you were saying about the defence. Were you surprised, Bridge? Do you think it was maybe? Do you think there was any complacency there because they'd done the kind of hard work with Hearts and Kilmarnock and stuff like that? Did they think that maybe the Motherwell was going to be an easier game since it was at home and stuff like that? Because, I mean, for the amount of chances that we had, I wouldn't have said that we were complacent, but the defence did look a bit too relaxed considering how physical Motherwell were going to be.
Well, your midfield were nowhere. And none of your midfield players played anywhere near their best game. A long way short. Your defence were much the same. And the forwards, well, it was only really Dessers that was there. It was actually going to do anything, I have to say. But the truth of the matter is, we were just woeful. As a team and as a unit, woeful. And you break it down into three sort of integral parts. And neither of the three actually did anything. And I think Motherwell, when they got the ball, they played the ball about, lovely passing, good finding their men and so on and so forth. It took us a long time to get in there and actually win the ball off Motherwell. But Motherwell were coming in and they were putting the foot in, you know. So this is where you've got to watch it. We've got to watch so we don't get caught. Like we have to be on our own, in our own minds, got to get ready. And that's what we weren't. I have to say this in all honesty, guys. We weren't ready for that game. We weren't up for it. We weren't ready for it. And you mentioned there, we just seemed to never start. We just didn't seem to start at all. Look, they took a penalty and a long decision for VAR to give the penalty to us. But it took the penalty. And of course, Tav did the business. But that's all. The rest of it were all good shots and great crosses in. But the crosses were we couldn't. Nobody up there challenging, so you just don't have the height against these defenders. You just don't have it. I mean, seriously. And no man, even when we send our big boys up, talking about Golson and Suter for corners now, even when they get the ball's over the bar or past the post. There are very few times they actually get it on target. Saying that, I think they got a couple on target last week. But no, seriously, Saturday was pathetic. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to go into it too much.
No, I think you're fine, mate. And like you say, it's probably just lacking quality, Bridge. But it'd be good to hear what it says, the Rangers Radio listeners. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, come in, give us your points on the weekend and maybe some talking points. Were they complacent, or was there anything else that you've noticed out there? Like I says, Old School Blues got to be taking a keen eye over the socials. So if you've got a question, put it into the feed, and what it says, we'll bring up the topic if you're unable to phone in. Robert, the second half, obviously we get back into it, the penalty and stuff like that. A couple of chances, I think Silva's chance was there to be had as well, mate. And then I think you had even the double save, wasn't it, with Lundstrom and then Ridvan following up. It's just, like I says, I think once Tav got that penalty, I honestly thought that was going to be a turning point and probably us pushing on to win the game.
You'd expect it, and rightly so, especially at home. You get the goal back that probably the play overall, in terms of attempts we created, merited. But again, I think it was 31 attempts on goal we had, and the only goal we scored was a penalty. And it's not the first time we've had a great number of chances created and only scored maybe 2, 3 or 4. You go back to the Ross County game where the goalkeeper made 19 saves, set a record. And okay, we scored 3 goals, but it could have been a lot more. And certainly on Saturday, we should have been a lot more clinical and we'd have seen the game out comfortably. But when you get the equaliser, you do expect to kick on a gear. You would expect Motherwell to kind of be a bit deflated after their performance, because they would feel that their play merited them being in front. And obviously we did come back into the game, and then you know what happens after that.
Aye, Bridge, again, you were there at the game. Tav scores a great penalty again, by the way. 8 game plaudits for that. Puts it away. I actually thought, Bridge, at the time when Tav hit the penalty, where the angle was in my telly, that he'd actually missed it.
Oh no, I don't think that. But like I says, he put it away nicely. And again, it was early, Bridge, so it was a good half an hour left in the match, plus obviously or added VAR time. So for me, I was expecting us to kick on and actually, like I say, secure the game. I would have probably walked out there with a 2-1 if we could have got it. But, yeah, I agree with you. And we should have done, shouldn't we? But this midfield to me, the midfield weren't in the game virtually for the whole game. They weren't in it. You get some wee flashes now and again. But we were getting those, against Hearts, it was crisp passing. And against the other team, crisp passing, good passing, short passing, good linkage, and so on and so forth. And we had none of that. Maybe for a minute or two, small shots, runs. But seriously, we're at Ibrox and we can't beat Motherwell. Poor. And the team, every single man in the team, apart from the goalkeeper, I would say, poor. Tavernier, love him to bits and all the rest of it, but you can criticise him dead easy because some of his passing is quite poor. But great goal, absolutely brilliant goal. And he got a chance with another free kick. But it's all, our dangerous things are the free kicks. Free kick, a penalty, and Tavernier's taking it. So that shows you what the danger area for any team coming to Ibrox. If Tav's on his game, things might happen. Based on what I've seen, I'm not being funny when I say it. There's some fantastic, brilliant players. They're just not doing it. So.
No, Bridge, you actually did make a good point there, mate, because you're right. When it's when it's all getting laid on our right back to get us a goal or to get us, like you say, back in the game, it shouldn't be. We've got plenty, like you say, good attackers on that field that should have probably been stepping up at the weekend. Since you're still there, Bridge, just your thoughts on obviously Motherwell's goal. Another, I don't know. Obviously, Diamande had a bit of a nightmare, but I felt that Tav and Butland didn't read the ball right because the boy gets his shot away. And I'm like I says, I don't. When you're watching it back, Tav is quite a bit away from the boy. It didn't look it on the telly, but like I says, the boy was just right in there and beat the two of them to it, which I was surprised at because, like I says, they had plenty of time to get themselves into a good position to cover it, I think.
Well, look, Tavernier wasn't anywhere near the guy, you're right, but he should have been. There's nobody else behind Tavernier and nobody else between Tavernier and the goal, right? So you've got Goldson or others in front of him, and the guy and the Motherwell player who actually managed to get the ball, tidy it up himself, and put a lovely shot into the corner, which passed Tav. Not saying that Tav was next to it or anything like that, but Tav should have been closer. In my opinion, it's only my opinion. He should have been closer. He's the last man in the defence here. There is nobody else, no attacking team, no nothing. There's nobody there, only Tav, and he's guarding the 6-yard line. That's my opinion. That's what he was doing. And you know, I didn't believe the ball was going in until I saw it going in. You know, and very upset. Rangers fans are really upset. I think they probably only had about 3 people in our box during that whole episode until the goal was scored, and we like 8 defenders or 2 defenders or whatever, 2 midfielders and the rest of the defenders. We weren't there. We just weren't at the game at the time. I think Tavernier. I personally blame Tavernier for not being closer to the play because he didn't need to be anywhere else. He didn't need to be where he was. If the ball comes past him, well, it's going to get the park or go for a throw in or something, you know. I just don't see it. However, it happened, and the guy put the ball away quite well, in my opinion, quite well.
Robert, your thoughts, mate? Again, just obviously, like I says, on the Motherwell's goal was a bit. I don't know if the boy just got away with a nice pinpoint cross that like I says, Tav and Butland didn't expect, but we shouldn't be allowing Motherwell to even do that anyway.
No, you're right, mate. And you said that obviously Diamande was a bit slow in getting the ball out his feet and released to kind of get us on the attack. And as soon as the ball goes out wide, you're expecting Tav as your fullback to kind of tuck in, but he's got to know there's a man behind him, and at least as Bridge says, get closer to him. Doesn't need to be right on top of him to win the header, but put enough pressure on him to force him to put the header not goalwards, but just do enough to prevent the shot coming in, essentially. And I think it's unfortunate that it hits Burton goes in. Again, he could come for it, but he's probably anticipating that his defence has got it covered. So would you put it down to a mix-up? Potentially. The flip side is you just say it as a good ball in, because if we do that, you're saying that's a great ball and it's a great goal and everything else. But as you say, they should not have the time on the ball to put a cross like that in the first place. But I do agree with Bridge that Tav should be closer to at least put some sort of pressure on the player to not get a free header. But let's be fair, the boys shouldn't be on the park anyway to win that header.
Aye, I agree. And again, Bridge, the game just kind of peters out in a sense. We had chances, like you said, mate. We had a couple of corners. Well, I say a couple. I think Linda touched on it last night. About 15 corners throughout the full game. We just won at the races, Bridge, overall.
Well, not in my opinion, anyway. I don't. Well, to me, they were still the better team. The stats, the shots at goal, so on and so forth, tell you that they're still the better team. They had maybe 2 chances in the whole. In my opinion, 2 chances, scored 1 in the first half. The one that we lost in the second half, okay, it was a chance for them. So they had 3 chances, in my opinion, the whole game, and got 2 goals with it. And we had 30 chances, 20 chances, you name it, you know. And we never scored 1 other than a penalty. And that's quite shocking statistics for Rangers. And I'm only talking about Rangers here. Why are we not scoring goals? Why are we Shall we say, we made Liam Kelly look like a fantastic goalkeeper. I've not seen he's a bad goalkeeper in any way, stretch of imagination. He is a good goalkeeper. But my God Almighty, he brought off some fabulous saves against us. And that happens time and time again with opposition goalkeepers. We need to start putting the ball in the net when we get it, when we get the chance. I thought the goal that got chalked offside, Big Desser's goal, I thought this play, at some point in the play, he might have been offside. But I think when the chance actually felt him and he put it in the net, it wasn't offside. So I thought we were very unfortunate with that, and he was unfortunate because that would have lifted the club and the players to greater levels. But we have to look at it with our own eyes, boys. We have to look at it with our own eyes. We weren't very good.
Aye, that's what I was touching on, Robert. I think that's the thing. The Motherwell just overall wanted it more. They were more clinical. They showed the quality when they needed to, when they were putting their goals away. And ultimately, we had to just take a medicine at it, mate, because there's, like I says, there was moments there that we could have turned the game around. Like I says, it would have been a hard-fought game, but at the end of the day, I think, like I says, we just had to take our medicine and move on. You do, mate. And again, Saturday night, after that result, it kind of felt flat, almost. Do you know what I mean? I know you're on a defeat, but for some reason, it just felt a really flat feeling amongst the support that may have been the chance gone, that we had handed it back over to them to do the business on Sunday, which we know it didn't work out for them, which for us is a silver lining. But at the end of the day, we need to be winning these games from now to the end of the season. We can't rely on others to do the business for us. We need to focus on ourselves and do the business and take 3 points off these teams, because these teams that you play, like the Motherwells, your Kilmarnocks, they are the ones where you can lose a title. Might not win it, but you can certainly lose it. I agree.
Can I just come in just for a wee second? If we don't win the league, come back to Saturday's game, there's the reason. That's the reason. What Robert was saying there is 100% true. We need, and we should have known, all the players should have known, they should have been up for it. My God, we've got a big European game coming up, and we play like that on the Saturday. Wow, it's scary. So obviously, no matter what we say and how we want to put it, just diabolical when we're looking for 3 points at Ibrox. Nobody should come to Ibrox and beat us. That's only my opinion. Now, I know we lose games here and there, but really and truly, there's no way we should be playing bad at Ibrox. I don't care who you are. We shouldn't be playing bad at Ibrox. That's our home. This is it. Come in here and try to beat us. They tried and did it because we were inept. I'm not going to say any more.
Mm-hmm. No, but like I said, you say as much as you want, mate. I think so. I think it's it's probably again another learning, Robert, for our manager. I think the team selection raised a few eyebrows for me. He's got a guy, Silva, who is, as far as we're aware, can play on the left, and yet he never started him on the left. He went with McCausland. It's not McCausland's, I don't think it's McCausland's fair side, which kind of proved. And again, I'm not bashing him. I know it was a horrible injury to go, but I don't think he was having a great game either. And then I think Box touched on it last night about the point on Sterling being played as a right winger. I think he can only get away with that for so long. He showed great moments out there, but again, we've got a player like Lawrence that could probably, play maybe 60 minutes of that game out in the wing, and then you maybe put in the likes of Sterling to try and cover that right side for the rest of it. Just your thoughts overall with that, mate, the team selection?
It certainly did raise a few eyebrows. As you say, the likes of McCausland on the left, not his favoured side. And he's been a player that's showed great movements and great moments at times when he's had his chance, but the past few games he has been off the bench and a kind of bit more of an impact player when the game is done or you need a fresh pair of legs up on the wings. I didn't think he was going to start, to be honest. I thought again he would have been, as you said, a Lawrence or a Silva out wide, a bit more creativity, an eye for a pass through the lines, because we'd expect Motherwell to sit in and be tight, compact. So team selection, probably one of a few times where he may have got it wrong. And again, it's easy to say that he got it wrong when it is a defeat. If he wins a game, you say he's done it well, he's made subs at the right time and impacted the game. So it is easy to sit here and say that it is a wrong team selection, but at the end of the day, the quality of players we have should be doing the job at home to Motherwell. So they have to look at themselves, and he said it himself after the game. Now he will see who stands up and beats counted and gets a reaction from these players, and who turns us around on a performance that you would expect us to get 3 points, particularly at home.
Bridge, we're getting a couple of questions in for the social media side. We've got Joanna asking a question there. Is the tackles these days getting more aggressive? You've seen all sorts of league title challenges and all the rest of it, Bridge. How do you think the game is these days? Do you think it is a bit more physical? Do you think it's a bit more, the tackles are flying in a bit more dangerously? Or, like I say, is it just a sign of the times that, like I say, these players just can't play football?
Look, I have to say this right from the heart. I think every single team that plays against us does not play football necessarily for 90 minutes or whatever it takes. There's a lot of their game massively defensive and over the top tackling sometimes. Shocking tackling, bundling. The Motherwell game was the big boy Mugabe, Kevin Mugabe, whatever his name is. It was blocking and kicking off the ball. I mean, the ball's gone, and he's pulling the Rangers players everywhere. It was just utterly shocking. He wasn't alone. Is it O'Donnell or Donnelly, whatever the boy's name is, with him. And unbelievable, just absolutely dreadful what was happening. And that tackle on young McCausland, that was typical of what was going on in that game. And it wasn't just the wee guys. Goldson and Suter they were victims of it as well, truth be told. And I tell you now, all the managers, every manager now, I want to come and try and take something off the Rangers. And you know yourself, if you can remember a few years ago there, one of our young centre backs, we were only in the Championship, I think, and he went to Hampden and played in the cup final, and he broke his face against Motherwell players. They broke his face. So make no mistake, every time we play some of these teams, Rangers are going to get injured. Rangers players will get injured badly, and we've had 2 or 3 already this season, and the McCauslands are 4. So it's no mistake, you know. That's deliberate. It's absolutely deliberate. And the referee, well, don't get me started in the referee, please. Don't get me started in that. But it's shocking, and it's endemic all through football. It's endemic. There's no way they're going to beat us. In all honesty, they're not going to come out there and magically dribble past Rangers players and run 90 yards and score great goals. No. They're going to work as a team, work as a unit, heavy tackles, late tackles, you name it, all these things that are going to happen. And Rangers, you heard the fans. Rangers fans were absolutely raging, and they booed that referee at half-time, and they booed that referee for big chunks of the game, and an absolute resounding boo at the end of the game. Nothing short of disgraceful. I don't want to say too much about the ref, sorry.
No, well said, Bridge. And Joanna, thanks for your question and the chat there. That was great. And like I says, give us a call, 0141 356 1972, if you want to make your point live on the show, or like I says, if you've got a question for the panel or just a general question about what Bridge's favourite Battle Fever music is, and like I says, put it in the socials and we'll ask the question. Robert, obviously we get our get out of jail free card at the weekend there, and I've heard the kind of narrative a wee bit from it that it's been us that's not been able to capitalise and go 5 points clear. But I've got a wee inkling that the pressure was too much for across the city as well, so that's why there was a kind of fault from their side. But does it concern you, mate, going into Thursday, that kind of performance, or do you think it's just a one-off and Clermont will regroup them? And again, I suppose it's a total different game, isn't it? You're going to have two teams playing proper football, and as Bridge touched on there, you're not going to have the kind of, well, I imagine you're not going to have the same kind of crunching tackles that's getting flung about in the SPFL.
But yeah, you'd like to think it'd be a better standard of refereeing to start with, and the players would be protected. But on terms of football, yes, it's fair to say you'd be worried now based on that performance. Again, it's at home, it's at Motherwell, who, let's be honest, they probably deserve something against that lot the other week. They probably deserved at least a point. So the performance there deserved something at the game. They've got something from us. So if we can't do the business against a team like Motherwell at home, it's right to be worried on Thursday night. And as you say there, it's two teams that will open up and play. But we've just seen how Goldson and Suter cannot handle a physical centre forward, bullying them off the ball. And a player of, I don't know who Benfica have up front with their injuries and who's available and whatnot, but if a player like the stature of Bear from the weekend is up against day two, if they're the starting centre backs on Thursday, you're going to have nerves, you're going to be worried. And again, you've lost another player, particularly a wide player, in your final third. So you're kind of left a bit short on wingers. You're playing Sterling already on the right wing, who's, we know, is not a right winger. He'll do a job. He'll put the effort in. But if that's a performance of the team that's probably not going to be far off Thursday night, then yeah, you would be fair to say that there will be nerves and worry. But flip side to that, though, I will say is, I personally have seen enough from Clermont to think that he'll get a reaction from these players, and he'll not take for that. He would have had them in training, hammering the mistakes and the errors that happened at the weekend, and iron them out for Thursday. And we all know how Rangers and European nights, it's just different. And it would not surprise me if we went and got a 3-0 result, and it would just be typical Rangers in Europe.
I agree, mate. And Bridge, the manager said in his presser after the Motherwell game that he'll be keeping a close eye on the players that are going to stand up now, because this is kind of like the reset button again. It's time for them to go on another run of games, another run of wins. No, I'm not expecting them to go out to Benfica and win. I want them to try their best, but like I says, we are up against a fantastic opposition. But like I says, I do think Clermont will have them organised, he'll have them motivated, and like I says, hopefully it will take us into the weekend, mate. I think that, like I says, he's very good at that way. I think he resetting the team, calming them down, and getting them refocused.
Yeah, what can we say? This is Saturday was the biggest game of the season. I've said this about every game. That was the biggest game of our season up to now, and it probably could be as it was. We lost the game, and that could make it the biggest game of our season if we don't win the league. That's what I was trying to say to you earlier. But the truth of the matter is, every single game we have to have the same or better players or whatever. The players that come onto that park have to be 100% get up and ready to go. And I'm afraid they're not. Sometimes they're not. If we make anything like the same mistakes we made against Motherwell, we'll get absolutely pummeled against Benfica if they're on a wee bit of form. We cannot afford to do any of these silly things, players clash into each other, all that nonsense. We have to get it right and play for ourselves and make sure we don't want to say, that Benfica might have lost a game just for saying so. What doesn't matter? We're going to be playing Benfica, and we're not, based on our last result there at home, we were not good. So we better be good. And Thursday, is it Thursday we play? On Thursday, we've got to be good. We've got to go out there and play our best, shall we say, defensive game, and make sure that we don't cause any bumps in the road ourselves. If Benfica come out and outplays, then they outplay, as simple as that. But we've got to put in a big sterling performance, particularly defence-wise. And I must be honest to say, our midfield have to step up. They have to step up. I think that the young lad, Ashkan, seriously, I don't think he played even half of the first half. I don't think he was in the game that much. And the 3 or 4 times that he was heavily involved, he gave 3 kicks away, and I don't even know if he got booked. I don't think so. But he could easily been booked, you know. So he gets involved and does the wrong things by the sound of it to me. And I hope it looks as if he's going to be a smashing new player, but he's not quite 100% fit yet, not match fit. So a big tough game against Motherwell. Now we're going to come up against an even tougher game in Benfica at their ground. So we're in for a huge, huge night on Thursday night, and we have to be present and all present and correct. That's what we need to do.
GB, can I just come in as well? As much as it is going to be a huge game on Thursday night, Benfica lost 5-0 at the weekend against Porto. So there's goals to score against that defence. You won't be surprised to hear that Otamendi got a red card in the league. I know it won't carry through the Europa League, but it shows that there is going to be mistakes in their defence, and it is down to us to capitalise on the chances. And I think it's important that, although it's away from home and away goals don't count, we take our chances and win the game comfortably, or at least stay in the tie and bring it back to Ibrox. But we are going against a team who did lose 5-0, so it's 2 teams in the back of defeat that will want to right a wrong. So it is going to be a great spectacle.
No, and Robert, I think when you're seeing a result like that sounds like a team that collapsed. You know what I mean? So it could be that it's that way that we need to get the kind of early goal, that goal that can maybe turn the crowd. Because I would imagine, I know like the kind of Portuguese leagues like that, like our league, it's like kind of like losing to Porto's not a great thing for them. So I can imagine their fans are a bit miffed. And like I says, I think going into Thursday, if Rangers rock up and get, I don't know, like I says an early goal, then I can imagine that crowd turning, Robert.
You certainly could anticipate it. I know that the game at the weekend they were away from home, but as you say, at home on the back of that 5-0, there was actually calls for the manager to be sacked after the game at the weekend. So it tells you right away that the fans, as you say, it's a different kind of climate over there, and element in the way the support treat the players and the management. An early goal would absolutely rattle them, and it might be the thing that we need to settle us down as well, but also pick us up, if that makes sense. So settle the nerves of a European game, but pick us up off the floor of feeling flat, losing a game, and getting an early goal to kick us on. And as you said, the crowd gets to them, the pressure's on them, and we could play with a bit more freedom. And we know at times when we do that, we sometimes play a better football, but it is about taking the chances on Thursday night.
Agreement. Bridge, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like, we probably are hopefully going to catch this Benfica team just at the right time. Robert's touched on it there, that they're not really overly happy with their manager as it stands now. And I think it's because he's not come out and apologised to them. And like, again, you've got a team that, like, if we like to seem like catch these teams when they've just came out of, like, say, Champions Leagues and stuff like that. So it just might be the right motivation for our players to go and show their talents, because there's, like I says, Bridge, there's talent there. They just didn't show it in against Motherwell, sorry.
Yeah, well, we said, we did say that. And I think anybody that watched the game on television or anybody that was at the game, all saw that. There was parts of the game where we just weren't there. We weren't at it the way we should have been. And I think because of the physicality that Motherwell showed, we didn't show the same physicality back. And when any of our players did try to shall we say, defend themselves, they ended up getting a free kick against them, or that kind of thing. So the referee, to me, took advantage of us, so he could just ignore, didn't give to Rangers, that kind of. That's not going to happen on Thursday. Doubt very much that's going to happen on Thursday. We have to be there. We have to be there. We're standing there. Everybody stand their own 2 feet and watch out what you're doing and play football. That's what we can do. We can play football, and we can play it from the back and get it up there. That's what we need to do. But don't make it as difficult as it was against Motherwell and others before us, And against Kilmarnock at times we were pretty dire as well when we couldn't pass the ball. We end up giving the ball away, and all of a sudden people are flooding through on you. So these things have to be sorted and stopped. Yeah, but remember, you're talking it was it the Europa League last 16. So come on, got to be up for it. We've got to be up for it. I'm putting Saturday's game down to the performance of Saturday down to nerves up before the Europa League game. That's what I'm putting that down to. I shouldn't be, but I am. So as far as I'm concerned, get this forgotten about and get back onto get the high, get yourself up there and do it. Just do it. One foot in front of the other. Let's go. That's what I say.
Well said, Bridge. Robert, how are you feeling about this playing in the Europa League at this stage where everything else is so important, like i.e. the title race, Scottish Cup? I mean, for me, no matter what happens in these two games with Benfica, the performances, if it's a good performance, I'll take confidence with it, if you mean. But if it's anything, if we get papped out or whatever, I'm not going to labour it on the team. I'm not going to follow that through into the league or whatever. The league form, I think the league form has got to be very different to this Europa League run. And like I says, I don't. Right away the press will, if we go earlier and we get beat, then the press will be right on top of it and thinking there's a crisis and all this carry on. I just hope as a support that we realise that these next two games, really in my eyes, is gravy, really, and the full focus still should be on the league title.
Of course, I think it was last week a caller came in and asked, basically wasn't worried about Europe, but he put it down to the way things are in the league and the Scottish Cup, all these competitions we're still in. Is Europe a hindrance or a bonus? Now, I don't mean bonus, obviously the money's there, that's where it is. The money in Scottish football compared to Europe is different, we know that. But at this stage in the competition, when you're in a title race, you've got away with one at the weekend. Does Europe now become a hindrance in terms of the players we've got available, playing Thursday, Sunday? The eyes of the objective, taking away the focus on the league, which, as you say, is our bread and butter. You've got an argument for both sides. I said last week I like it because it keeps the momentum going. That momentum stopped at the weekend with a defeat. So now you look at Europe in a different picture. But if we go and win, what a lift it is to go into a Scottish Cup game, win that, again, it's another great lift into a European game. But as you say, the focus is on the league. So if we were knocked out at this round, I don't think we would say we're disheartened that we went out based on not good enough. We've got to the last 16 again on merit. But the most important thing for our supporters is to win that league title. It's a gateway to the Champions League. And we all know the new format. There's more money, there's more games, there's more TV revenue. That's where the big bucks is. So Thursday night, I'll take a draw if you ask me now. If we go through in the tie, I'm not going to be disheartened and say it's an extra 2 games to play further on. But if we go out again, I'm not disheartened. We've got the league to focus on, and that's the priority, and it always has been throughout the whole season.
I like that bit you said about momentum, because Bridge, I think even the players, they say they would much prefer playing games. They just want the next game to come. And the good thing about our league and the way we are in the Europa League is that the next game's not that far down the line that you can rectify a poor performance if you've had one. So the good thing is Rangers have got a chance to go out and kind of rectify the situation, put in a good performance, hopefully against Benfica, and bring that back into the weekend.
Well, as we've just said there a number of times, this is a Europa League last 16 we're in. We're not here for a laugh, we're there. It's a huge competition. We've got to go out and do ourselves proud for a start. And if we do ourselves proud and play a bit of football, you never know. We could maybe get a draw out of it or come back not completely defeated, if you follow what I mean. and we'll get them. Because many years ago, we used to say that. I hope it, while we were playing the European area, I hope the first leg's away. So we knew we were going to get up. We knew we got them back to Ibrox. And that worked for a long, long time for Rangers. And I feel the same here. Unfortunately, we are away from home. But our form, the last game at Ibrox, wasn't that great. So we need to get everything up for this game. This game, we should be targeting this game with everything that we've got in the club. Everything we've got in the club. And going over there and giving them what for as much as we can. If they beat us, they beat us. You know what I mean? They're not stupid. And Robert's right, because, how can we say it? That we have got some sort of I don't have this priority the same as Robert does, that we have to win the league. As far as I'm concerned, I want them to go and win in Europe, because I'm only a game at a time, man. But next game, you've got to win your next game. That's my mind. Go and win your next game. And if you can do that, you won't be go far wrong. And I don't care how we do it. Don't get beat. If we can salvage a clean sheet, whatever you want to call it, I'm happy. I'll come back there with a draw, and we'll get them back at Ibrox and knock 7 bells out of them, I hope. But no, that might not happen that way. I'm no under any illusions. We, Rangers, the Glasgow Rangers and the fans, have to be our best behaviour and out there and get it done. Make sure this is the biggest game of the season and it's in your mind. Get up for it. That's all I want. Get up for the game.
Brilliant, Bridge. Right, like I says, if you've got the same view as the Bridge, give us a call.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That's it. Give us a call, 0141 356 1972, or like I says, post your question. If you're unable to phone in, then like I says, there's plenty of social media stuff out there. The Facebook's open, YouTube, the lobby. So like I says, get your question in, and like I says, the techie team will let us know, and we'll bring the subject up for you. Robert, I says this is where we want to be. Like I says, we want to be playing against these top teams, and I get. Like I've even mentioned it the other now that the league's the main focus for me. But as Bridge touches on, you go out there, you put in a performance. Like I says, it doesn't have to be a win, but you put a performance, then it breeds confidence. And like I says, that can hopefully kickstart another run of wins or another, like I says, getting us through the Scottish Cup, that kind of thing. Like it just, like I says, gets the team settled again, and it keeps that negativity away from the squad.
Certainly does, mate. And Clement said it from day one as well. There will be bumps in the road, and the weekend is certainly a bump in the road. So he knew that this wasn't going to be an unbeaten campaign of League, Cup, Europe for him. He was expecting to have this probably done earlier. I think he said that himself. He expected a defeat or a bump in the road to come a lot earlier. But again, it's the reaction. And on the European stage, as I said, there's a different element of Rangers. Players step up. The fans are always there in their numbers. There'll be thousands out in Portugal cheering them on, and thousands watching back home as well. And as you said, if you get a performance that the team is proud of and we are proud of as supporters, you bring them back to Ibrox and you go for it. And as I said, as much as you might think now that Europe causes issues of players availability, injuries, potential, everything else, you're not going to say no to going through to the next round, are you? Because it's more money, more games, and Rangers are on the map, and we know that we can go and compete against these teams. We've got to a European run recently. Could have won it, should have won it, but again, we test ourselves against these big teams, and it wasn't long ago that Benfica were in a Champions League position. So you always say to yourself, mate, to be the best, you need to beat the best. Okay, Benfica might not be the strongest team in the competition, but if we go out and give ourselves a good performance, as you said, it may not need to be a win, but if you go out and get a good, solid performance from the starting 11 and the subs that come on and impact the game, it boosts your confidence back up again, and as you say, the momentum starts again from that blip in the road.
I agree with you. Bridge, and the thing about the Benfica game is that it might actually give the manager an opportunity to get minutes and legs. Whereas if we weren't in the competition, then you'd probably try to do that through training and all the rest of it. So it is a good opportunity. Hopefully these guys that are out injured, the ones maybe like Matondo and stuff like that, hopefully between the two games, we'll be able to bleed these guys back into the team and again get them the match sharpness that's going to be needed for, let us say, the run in the Scottish Cup, the run in the league.
Yeah, we've got a very, very busy schedule ahead of us. About 9 games in the league or something like that, and Cup, Scottish Cup, and of course the European time. Yeah, this to me, this game again, biggest game of the season, and we have to pay it that due. We can't take it for granted. We can't kid ourselves on. It's real. It's happening. Thursday night, massive for the club. If we can get through this on Thursday night without losing, if you follow what I mean, if we win or we draw, wonderful stuff, and that gives us a great sort of starting point for the big games, the game coming to Ibrox or wherever we're playing. And we should be proud of ourselves if we can get a result against Benfica on Thursday. Just superb. Or not a heavy defeat, if you follow what I mean. So if we're up to match them, do the business, and they get a penalty just for saying sake, then they're unlucky, you know. But my God, don't go there and think you're going to play. You're playing Motherwell. No, don't. You're not playing Motherwell. You're not playing Kilmarnock. You're playing Benfica, one of the greatest names in European football. They are a top club. Make no mistake about it. They might get a doing at the weekend what we did, you know. So they might have got a doing, but my God, they're still a massive club, a lot of resources, and they're still able to play football. Simple as that. If we're not in our game, then they'll murder us.
Robert, I think as well, for the fans, it's got to be an enjoyable trip because there'll be some sunshine, but maybe the players will enjoy getting some heat and all at this time of year.
Yeah, taking back to the warm winter training camp, won't it? A wee bit of a warmer climate, and as you say, mate, the fans will go in their numbers, and we know what the support will do. It can be the 12th, 13th, 14th man, and we know how strong a following we'll have. Some in the ground, some probably outside the ground, hunting for tickets or trying to get into the ground somehow. So the team need to put a performance on that will get the fans going and get behind them and have that synergy that Clement keeps talking about, and we've shown it from day one that it can be a big factor in the game, and particularly in Europe as well, where, as you say, you get an early goal, their fans turn on them, and our fans get right behind our guys. So it's going to be a very interesting game come Thursday night.
Rich, again, opportunity for our, just quickly, obviously before the tune, but it'll be an opportunity for some of our players to showcase their talents. I think, like I says, Europa League is where you probably get the best exposure, especially if you're trying to get to that next level. So again, opportunity for them to go out and show themselves in a good light, mate.
Oh, fabulous opportunity for Glasgow Rangers. Fabulous opportunity for all the players to go there, and the fans go there, enjoy yourself. And obviously, if the players can do it on the park, more the merrier. It's just a fabulous time. European football is wonderful for me. Wonderful. I love watching it. I love my club participating in it, because there is nothing better in this world from a football perspective than participating in these big tournaments. And for Rangers to be there is nothing short of fantastic. So don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't let them see you that you're ashamed of yourself. Go out there and play your game and play it right.
Well said. Right, well, like I say, give us a call after the tune, 0141 356 1972. And again, if you can't call in, put your question in either lobby, Facebook chat, or like I say, across the social media sides, and we'll grab the question and we'll put it through the show and we'll create a bit of debate about it. So, like I say, get yourselves on mute because we're going to have a tune.
Sure, I was dreaming of old Ibrox, of her slopes and great grandstands, and I dreamed about the Rangers, the best team in the land. when my memory suggested of a vision bright and clear of the strange things that would happen if we had the Rangers here. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Loudrup came from Sandy Road, and Alistair Price came from East Belfast, and old Belfast became then old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, sure no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roll, and all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. I dreamed about a Ulster man who wore a shirt of blue, Bertie Manderton, Sam English, Laurie Hamilton, McCandless too. I have dreamed of Whitey McDonald, who came from Lisburn town, and the greatest Billy Simpson, who never let them down. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Loudrup came from Sandy Road, and Ali McCoyce came from East Belfast, and then old Belfast became old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, then no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roam, all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.
Thanks for that, Fox. A nice wee toe tapper, especially for old school Blue, who might be going on his holidays soon enough with that one. Welcome back, lads. We all back?
Yep.
I'm looking forward to Robert. I'm looking forward to the game Thursday. It's a great test. It's a great place for us to showcase ourselves and the players. Like I says, I mean, if you're wanting to get noticed by the top leagues and stuff like that, then this is the place to do it. And for some reason, our club seem to perform their best in this competition. It's a competition that we really like, and I think, like I says, it's an opportunity to create a feel good factor again, because again, Seville, it just seemed to bring all the fans together and the team together, and I'm hoping between that and this title race that we keep that momentum going.
That's the perfect world, isn't it, mate? That we go there and we pick ourselves up with a dominant performance, a win, and a feel-good factor of another European run. And I don't think any supporter would say that as long as they're getting success at the end of the season, that they would take that or not have that as well. Obviously, you want to be successful, and success means having trophies. It's okay going on a good European run, but if you've got nothing to show for it at the end of the season other than a League Cup, then it's not a successful one in supporters' eyes, and rightly so. We've went on too long now that we haven't had a double or a treble or anything to say it's been a successful season overall, as well as a good European run. So we've got a great chance now. We've got a great manager who, again, has been very professional throughout, knows his stuff. He's done his homework on the teams in our league. I'm pretty sure he's done his homework on Benfica already, and he's dotting the I's and crossing the T's on them as well. So I'm interested. I said a few weeks ago I was interested to see how he approached the game, because it was last 16. It's 2 games against a big opposition side. We got Benfica, and I wanted to see how he approached it in terms of his system. Does he change it up? I'm probably more interested now to see how he does approach it with the squad that we do have available. Obviously, we'll find out tomorrow in the press conference which squad that will be, which players are back fit, who's missing out, or anything at all. So I'm more interested that way to see how we actually do approach it, as well as the personnel. But as you said, it's maybe a chance for players that have been on the bench of late to maybe get the start because we need them to, and also stand up and be counted, particularly the forward line, if you think about it, with the wingers being out.
Aye, Bridge, the press conference tomorrow, just to let you know it's 6:15. We'll not get to hear the kind of outlook on the squad, Bridge, and that's the thing. The manager's going to have to wave his wand again and, let's say, try and sort something for that left side and right side. I think that's kind of the kind of weakest parts of our team now, considering where the injuries are lying. And he's going to have to kind of sort something. Might even have to change a bit of the formation to try and suit and combat Benfica.
Yeah, I would imagine the manager's dreaming up things that he could do and providing no more injuries than what we got at the weekend. And maybe some players making themselves a wee bit more available. I know that Ruth came on at the weekend and never saw himself in glory or anything like that, but he came on and did what he did. So he's a wee chance to get some minutes in his legs. That's what I like to say. I don't know if any of our real good players, in my opinion, real good players like Danilo, I don't understand. That's his loss. We're going to lose him for the whole season, for the look of it, So that's a sin, because he could have done something for us, lovely player. So whomever we get, I like Tom Lawrence. I think Tom Lawrence would be a superb player for us if we can get him fit and keep him fit. That'd be magic. I don't know if Todd Cantwell is ready to come back or no. And I saw the text that went through and no belong or something like he said on it, something strange. I don't know where you caught that in these. But seriously, Silva would love to see back. What a lovely player he is. Very quick and good help in defence as well, You get 3 or 4 Silvas and you'll do better, However, make no bones about it. It's a big, big competition. We're in it. And don't get me wrong, we've got a doing a couple of times in the European area and the the Europa League. I remember the biggest one for me was we were playing Liverpool and Stunning Ivers watched us going 1-0 ahead of Liverpool, and then we completely collapsed for the rest of the first half, and Liverpool scalped us at 6-1. I think it was on the day, 7-1 maybe. But really, we can't afford to be doing these things. But I think we should be grateful. As a club, we should be grateful that we're getting the opportunity to be there. And we've won it through, thoroughly deserved. And we should be happy to be there and get there and get a chance to put things right for us and let people show how good they are at a European level. That's what I want to see. I want to see our team doing well at the European level. It'll be wonderful.
Rob Watterstein, one of the questions that got chucked up there is the $1 million question. How many minutes will Ruth actually get?
Yeah, well, look, we can't say too much about him because theoretically he's been injured. Nothing else we can say about it. But if he's available to come back, he can get 15 minutes, 20 minutes and kind of start a wee bit. And brilliant. But you see where we are. We're down to the bare bones in midfield and up front. Bare bones. Unless you can get the Dessers to turn it on. That would be wonderful if you get him to turn it on. I don't know how he'll do it. Maybe a magic wand or something like that. But he gets himself into some superb positions and you can see what he does. Sometimes he scores fantastic goals, but other times most of the time he just misses, So we need a wee change in there and a bit of luck, you know. That'd be great.
Robert, I'd rather, I definitely would rather have Roof there, sitting on the bench, or like I says, and getting a wee start, because like I says, he's another one that enjoys that competition. Like I says, he scored some great goals in it, and most recently with Betis. I mean, that goal alone's, I think what Ox has said before, it's probably paid for his wages for this season. I mean, it's unreal that he is so clinical. I really do hope that if this is the kind of swan song for Roof, that, and I think we all kind of know that by the end of the season his contract will not get renewed. But I just hope for these kind of last so many games for him that just goes out and gives his all, just goes for it. I mean, I know he's got a career to kind of protect, maybe after Rangers and stuff like that, but let's face it, see if he just gives his blood and guts and just gets stuck in about it for these last so many games, he might walk away with something to hold in his hands and have a good memory and a good send-off.
Yeah, personally, I think he's got a say in this season for us. Again, it's staying injury-free, and again, on a personal note, I hope he does stay injury-free for these remaining games of the season, and I do think he has a say in it, whether that's getting an early goal to set a game alight or to score a winner. It would be a nice touch, I think, and personally, I still think he is the best finisher at the club. So to have him on the bench in a European game where if you are wanting a goal, you look at the bench, you see Kemal Roof sitting there, you're going to take the 20 minutes, 30 minutes in his legs to go and maybe try and get that goal. So as a different dimension, I don't think he would start because he's not going to be the match fitness, and I think you'll get more out of him than 30 minutes than you would out of an hour, if that makes sense, just because of his game time he's had recently. I know he's played in the B team games and things, but as another player that we welcome back, and we do hope that he can stay fit, because he does. His goals to games ratio for the club is rather impressive when you think about it. But as another player that injuries have unfortunately hampered his Rangers career, and as you say, we don't think he'll be there next season based on the contract ending, the way Rangers seem to be going down the path of a new look, and I don't think Kemal Roos will be part of that. But again, as I say, I think he does have something to play in this season.
No, I agree.
Sorry, Paul. Sorry.
No, I agree, Robert. I think, like you says, Roos probably done his most damage coming off the bench for us. So, that's something. I really do hope that he comes there and he gets that important goal that might get us through the next round, or like I says, in the league, that he's there to get that goal that we're desperate to get the win for. You know what I mean? He's a player like that. He is a match winner, Bridge, isn't he? Bridge?
Sorry, pal, what was that? What was it you said there?
Talk about Roof, saying that he is a match winner. Yeah,
apologies there. Look, I would love Roof to come out and score one of the many amazing goals that he scored in Europe for the Rangers. He scored some fantastic goals for us. He's performed some fantastic feats for us. Knockout in his scoring. I would like him to be able to do some of that. As Robert says, okay, it might only be a 20-minute show, but can you turn the show on and come on for 20 minutes and give us a spark and get us a goal or two or whatever minute you want to score if you can. But we know he's capable of doing it in his career, during his career. Whether he's still got that, I don't know. But I'd love him to find out. If he came on. The manager played him the weekend, and I'm sure, hopefully, he's going to try and play him at some point this game. And I hope then Roof performs. It'd be wonderful to see, absolutely wonderful. But most fans are going to sit and wait and say, he'll get injured again or something after that. And it might happen. But no, please, come on. Score as one of your, remember that one hit inside his own half? Absolutely fantastic. Everybody said, what a good goal. And there was another goal he scored in away from home. 25 yards, just hit the box, he smashed it right into the corner. Oh, wonderful stuff. Loved it. So I'm looking for one of them. I'd be looking for one of them. But it doesn't matter. Rangers are playing with the players that we've got, and with every one of them have got to stand up and be counted.
Robert, I think you've got something with the roof. I don't know. I totally forgot about the roof in Benfica.
Yeah, it was obviously during the COVID season. He scored, I think actually the goal, Bridget just described it, the goal outside the box, about 25 yards, he rifled it into the top corner. And it came from on the left-hand side, it cut in a wee bit into the right, into more central, and then unleashed an absolute thunderbolt into the top corner. But obviously it was during COVID, so it was a very subdued celebration for an absolute screamer, but that's what he's got in his locker. But I think what's different for Roof compared to the strikers we've got, obviously Silva, Dessers, is he's a penalty box goal scorer. He'll stand in that box and he'll take his chances when they come. If he's not in the box, you've seen goals against Celtic where he runs in late with the header and he scores goals like that. He can hit them from long range. He's a very clinical finisher. And if we had a fit Kemar Roof this whole season, he may have been a difference maker in a number of games because he's so clinical. And I know he is a striker, he will miss chances, but you go back to his goals to games ratio for the club, it's rather impressive. And again, that is also down to the goals that he scored in the injury time he's had, which has been unfortunate.
Aye, one of the actual goals of this season sticks out for me is the one against St Mirren. How he managed to score that goal, and that, I think, to be honest, helped Michael Beale that day against St Mirren. That he bundled that. Was it? No, in fact, it wasn't St Mirren. I think it was Ross County. Was it Ross County? It was one of the away games anyway early on this season, and Roof had just came back from injury, I think, and he came on, and then right away, I think he started the game and he scored. It just shows you how, like you say, Robert, how clinical he is. But I'm going to, what we'll do now is we'll park the game on Thursday because I know the boys will dive into it a wee bit more in depth tomorrow, and obviously the Thursday, the build up to it. So, but we'll come back to it. Let's see if any callers come in and want to talk about it, which is, again, give us a phone 0141 356 1972, or let's just post your question in the social media side of things, and we'll bring the pointy topic up. What I want to come at you, boys, on is about the title race. I mean, the defeat at the weekend there is, I've never known a season like it, even for myself personally, that after a defeat you think it's all over. And the day I kind of look back when I look at the other close title races and stuff like that, Helicopter Sunday, I think probably the one with Hibs with McLeish, I think a lot is probably accepted that it was probably done and dusted. So that was probably like a kind of surprise one. Whereas the one that we won at home with the family, I think we all kind of had a feeling that we'd just go out and do our job and score as many goals as possible and we've won the league. But one that jumped out at me to Bayfies was actually Walter Smith's last title win. And I was surprised to find that the 10-11 season, that going to Kilmarnock, we actually won the league with only 1 point. And I remember that season, and during that season, I never once kind of kicked up about a defeat or a draw, because I always felt as though that we'd still get back into the league or we'd still win the league. And it's strange this season that nearly after every defeat, I'm questioning whether we've got the cojones to go again, if you know what I mean. And it seems to be that way that the manager is. The manager seems to galvanise them again, and we've kept battling everything that's came in front of us, Robert. Why is it that this season seems to be a wee bit more edgy for some reason, and yet I would say in previous seasons the support was a bit more relaxed about a draw or a defeat, knowing that we're probably good enough to come back and they bother?
You could probably say it's down to the players, because a lot of them have been here before and not performed when expected. They've not delivered, and it was probably down to mentality. And we know as much as Clement has had an impact on them, and we can see that on the pitch in terms of the mentality, the desire, the confidence. Yes, it's there to see, but inside we know that these players can suddenly change and go into hiding and make errors and mistakes that they weren't before, and sometimes they've not recovered from that. So down to players, maybe. But again, as you say, back to that one in 2010-11, a point in it didn't seem, if it was, and going to Kilmarnock in the last day of the season, although it was only a point in it, it didn't feel edgy or nervous at all. Whereas now, with that defeat on Saturday, it did feel like we were top for 2 weeks and that was it. And I think that comes down to the fact that they were playing Hearts on a Sunday and we just rolled over Hearts 5-0 quite comfortably, and we expected the same Hearts to turn up against them at home and not get a result. And I think that would be fair to say, considering the fact that they'd won 7-1 as well. So you probably looked at it and thought that the chance for us to be the leaders had gone. But again, as you say, Clement galvanises them, and it is now down to him and the players to get the reaction. We know we've got league business away for a while, but as we've said, that is the bread and butter, and that's where games are won. And I think another thing about the nerves and the edginess is the fact that there's 9 games left now. If this defeat had happened 9 games in, there's plenty of time to make up ground. Right now, every game feels like a cup final.
Aye, Bridge, I mean, you've seen a lot of title races, and close ones, probably ones we won with a canter. But again, like I says, the last one with Walter there, I think the Tuesday before we lost to Inverness Cali, and it was kind of out of horns and stuff like that. So it's strange that, like I says, during that season, and it's not that long ago, but that even I can mind being at the games that if you had a draw or I says a loss, that you would go away disappointed and annoyed, but you never, like I says, the backlash, the Motherwell defeat. I mean, like I says, the social media side of things. Granted, that's probably been a thing that's probably highlights it more, but fans get, like I says, back in Walter's time, seem to know that the next one was round the corner and the title was still coming, if you know what I mean. Whereas the now, I just feel as though, like, after every defeat, we always take a kind of sucker punch to the stomach. Bridge?
Yeah, I think to me the closest, I must admit there was a lot of close ones, truth be told. But the one when we were playing Dunfermline and they were playing, God, it's right in my head a minute ago. I can't remember who they were playing. Kilmarnock, there you go. God almighty. Well, I happened to be down in my brother's house down in Essex, and there was a big crowd of guys sitting in my brother's house watching it on 2 tellies, if you follow what I mean. So they've got the women's Celtic game. They've been, oh my goodness, it was amazing. They kept switching between the two, incredible. So a right party for us, But that was very close, that. I mean, it was as close as you can get, in my opinion. And of course, that was a famous Sutton says, well, I didn't expect him to do anything else. You know what I mean? Accused the Dunfermline of sort of lying down. That nonsense, And people like that should have been put out of the game. Immediately he said that should be put out of the game. However, it was very close. But I think another one that was very, very exciting was the helicopters changing direction. I mean, that was just unbelievable stuff. And Inverness Cali beat them 2-1. Just incredible stuff. And the helicopter changed direction and went to Easter Road. And there you go, done. What can you say? It was just wonderful. All of these, and way back, it was similar with some really close times. And sometimes with a bit more luck on our side, we could have done 10. I think we could have done 10, but things went against us. We lost Loudrup. He went away to Chelsea. That was a big hole for us. Big hole. We never recovered. But really and truly, the titles, we've got a fabulous amount of titles in our, for the Rangers, basically in our museum now. And we want to go. Robert said it. We want to go and do it again. However, we have to be realistic as well. We came through some horrible times in the last 10, 12 years, to the point where obviously we had absolutely no money. and good fortune that other people saved us from even worse with vouchers that were around. And now we're here. Now we're going with a really good manager, in my opinion, and we have to put our trust in him. And dream. We can only dream. In my opinion, I want Clement to get the guys together and don't ever repeat the performance against Motherwell. Don't ever repeat it. And get me a special wish, Mr. Clement, a big 6 feet 5, 6 feet 6 animal at centre half. That's what I want. And he'll just kill everybody. Come near him. That's what I want. And it makes a big difference. See, we're captain. There you go. He'll kill our players if you can near him as well. Go and do it. If you get the money for next season, just try and do that. And you wouldn't get the same nonsense that you got last week. Just wouldn't get it. I'm not saying anymore.
I'll just bring a question up for the socials, right? It's probably a decent enough point, I would think. It's saying there that it's a 2-horse race league, means that the league's a lot tighter than it's ever been. General quality of the league has dropped. Robert, your thoughts on that point, mate? It's been made.
Well, yes and no. I think the Old Firm, obviously, they've got the finances to kick on away from the rest of the leagues. But it wasn't just short of 2 weeks ago that Hearts were closer to. Was it Hearts were closer to Celtic than they were actually away from 4th place? So does that say that the team across the city have dropped more points than expected? Does that say the team in 3rd is actually improved? You could look at stats and numbers. Overall, you would say that the league is a poor kind of setup, apart from the top 2. Take the top 2 out of that, the league's not really entertaining at all, is it? You don't get sellouts at stadiums, you don't get interesting games on the telly. Maybe your Edinburgh Derby, but it's nothing like the Old Firm games. So I would probably go slightly against that point.
Ridge, your thoughts, mate? Do you think the way that the Rangers and Celtic now is because of financial fair play is kicked in and stuff like that? Do you think now that it's always been known as a 2-horse race, but I think it's closer than ever nowadays because there's no much room for manoeuvre with transfers and stuff like that. The big leagues now have got all the top players. You're trying to find that diamond in the rough. I just generally think it is something to do with, like, we know that any defeat or draw can be a total big impact, whether it's early on in the season or later. I think it still has a big bearing on your full season a lot of the time. Because look at like Beale, like, we knew at that point in time if we left it to go to Christmas, then the season would be done. But the board knew to make that change because they know how tight it can be to still have an opportunity to bring the points back. Just Bridge, your thoughts overall, mate?
Yeah, I believe, like yourself, I believe that it's a lot tighter than it has been, certainly in the recent past. Apart from when we actually won the title under Gerrard, and that was fabulous for us, But if you look at the league and the other teams, so if we can only look at from our own club, put the blinkers on, and we're only looking at Rangers, the teams in the league at the top, Celtic, and the one below is Hearts. I think Hearts are playing a lot better than they've done for a long time. Admittedly against other teams, but I think they're playing very, very well, getting some great results. They couldn't put tie their laces at Ibrox, but my goodness gracious, they really are playing well. And I think a big improvement for Hearts. The rest of them, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't see them having improved to the extent, I just don't see it. So I think Hearts, obviously us and them across the city, they're of the three. I think they're playing at this point in time. They have not improved. They're actually going the wrong way, the other way, in my opinion. But long may it last like that, you know. I just don't see it. I think overall, the league has improved overall for me.
Robert, I mean, just going back to quickly that 10-11 season, I think the league was out of our hands, but again, there wasn't much murmurings, I don't think, for the support at the time, just from memory. Like negativity-wise, it was still, I still think, as much as out of our hands, we still had hope. And like I says, I think it was they lost to Inverness Cali, and then that brought it back into us. And I think that was a moment where players stood up, and I think this is what we're going to need for our squad. We're going to need our, not even so much the big players, we're needing these guys like, say, Raskin. We're needing the guys like, say, Matondo even coming back for injury. We're needing them to step up to the mark and make an impact in this running.
Absolutely, mate. And from memory again, you think of that league campaign, and the name that springs to mind near the end of it was a Kyle Lafferty. He came to life near the end of that season. The last 9 or 10 games, he was scoring enough every single game. And I feel that's, again, as you say, we need somebody to do that with this league campaign that's left. Just grab games by the scruff of the neck and put the goals away, create the chances, assist them, whatever it may be. It's just somebody to step up and take that on them. And as you said, certainly a player who can do that can lift themselves, but also lift the squad. And again, as a generation thing as well, mate, back then we were used to success and we weren't nervous. Whereas now, because we've had the lack of trophies and this change of management over the years, is that why we're just nervous now? Because, as I said, these players have failed to deliver at times. And I know a lot have been around since the Gerrard winning title season, but only 2 years ago, mate, we had a 8-point lead over Celtic under Gio, and we flung it away. So I think that's when it comes down to the players that we've seen that are still at the club failing to deliver. And I think that's why there is so many nerves now, because it is still the same squad, as much as the manager has influenced and impacted it quite quickly and remarkably quickly. We just know what these players are capable of going back the way so quickly, as much as they have been going forward. But hopefully, as you said, Clement is experienced enough compared to the last 2 managers we've had. He's been here with other clubs. He's had the experience. He'll galvanise the squad. And as you said, European Scottish Cup games might just lift us into that league campaign for the remainder of the game. And players might get an extra 10% in their performance and go and deliver and stand up.
I agree, mate. We've got to need them all. But that's us. We're running into the last half of the show, so it'd be really good to hear from you. Let's come in, make your point, or let's post your question in the social media side. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Bridge, it's these kind of times of the season as well. It does sometimes bring out an unsung hero, doesn't it? It's as we've said about some of the players coming back for injury, some of the players that are just not maybe hot form yet. But as we've touched on, we need somebody to grab this by the scruff of the neck, because I think maybe what's frustrating the fans is that we probably felt that it would be a tall ask when Clement came in for us to get even a sniff of getting back into this title race. And I think now that we have, that there's opportunities there to go and grab it, and sometimes we're just not doing it. And I really hope that what it says after that at the weekend there, as you've touched on, Bridge, that Clement now galvanises them and it's full focus for the full squad, and the way like it says we find a hero in there just to like it says just to go out and win his matches, whether it's like it says a shooter, a ball off the shooter into the back of the net to get that winner just to get the 3 points. We need, as Robert touched on, we need somebody like a Kyle Lafferty to come out in anywhere and just to go on a run of form.
Yeah, 100%. And I say that the Kyle Lafferty type of scenario you come up with, the man's already there playing at number 9. You know, that's the way I look at it. We need him. We absolutely need him to start scoring goals. Just like you mentioned, no matter how it goes in the net, just put it in the net and make yourself feel better, and so on and so forth. And it'll be a great return for himself. But he can't go on getting great chances and missing them. Do you follow what I mean? He's defeating his own purpose, in my opinion. But that's what we need. We need someone to appear, just like Big Lafferty did every now and again. All of a sudden, he's there and he scores a couple of goals for you, and it's fabulous in heaven. And everything's forgiven, everything's forgiven. I want to see Big Dessers doing a similar thing there. He's already with us, so we're not waiting on him to coming in. He's already there. We need him to. He might do it in the European theatre. He just might turn up, and that's all it is. Maybe he's really good against European teams. I don't know, but it'd be wonderful to find out, wouldn't it? Just wonderful. Yeah, and the manager has got to work some magic. Obviously, there's no doubt about that. And a bit of luck as well, because I'm not dead sure. I think I said something about Todd Cantwell in a wee snippet. So I don't know whether he's fit enough to come back for the European game, but that would be great. Get him back. A big difference. Big difference here in midfield. Him and Tom Lawrence. Sorry, pal.
No, you're right. You're right, Rich. Again, we'll take that point to Robert. Robert is for what I'm hearing across the kind of the Rangers media side of things is that granted these guys are not going to be back tomorrow, but like say Sima, it seemed like got to be training on grass this week. He's got to start training on grass. We've seen Danilo. Might be a long shot that we might even see him this season. I say reading about Cortez, he's been out for the rest of the season by the looks of it. But with what it says, we've got Ravi Matondo, I think no far away. I think he's maybe no maybe this game, but maybe the weekend. And then we've got Cantwell, what it says posting on social media saying that he's got to be back soon as well. So I would imagine between the next couple of weeks you're going to see hopefully Cantwell and Matondo back in that squad, and we welcomed additions there, Robert.
Absolutely, and it wouldn't surprise me if Todd Cantwell actually is a surprise inclusion on Thursday night in the squad. I know he's obviously put on his Instagram coming soon, and it was a bit of footage and montage of his goals, and it kind of seemed a bit of a cryptic one, considering the timing that we've got a European game coming up, and it was on the back of that defeat as well that we were saying another injury, obviously, to McCausland. So watch this space. He'll probably be asked at the press conference tomorrow. I'm certain of that. But as you say, the likes of even Sima, I think he's due back early April. But I seen on social media again, he'd actually asked Clement if he can go out with the squad to Portugal because we were kind of short. And for me, that says a lot about Sima, kind of as a player and as a person. That he was willing to come back early to try and do a turn for us, and obviously it might cause an issue in the long run if he does take another injury, but that to me says a lot about his commitment and determination to still have an impact in this season. So certainly welcome additions, and you think about the goals that Seamus contributed as well, 15 goals. Cantwell was on form before his injury, so certainly players that can have a massive impact, and if they do arrive back in time for some crucial games near the end of the season, that's when it really matters.
Right, it would be a welcome boost, like I says, especially Thursday night if you get a player of Todd Cantwell's quality coming back into that squad. I mean, like I says, it might not start, but maybe sitting on the bench and giving him some minutes. He's still a dangerous player to come in for a year.
That dream if you get someone in that's like everybody's head goes down when someone like Cantwell gets injured, or even if it's a wee tweak on a previous injury. We don't know, but my goodness gracious, even when the thought of him coming back, it gives you a lift. It really does. And it gives everybody else around about him. If they're interested in Rangers, he's one of our best players, and we should all be happy if he gets back into the team, as long as he comes back fit and doesn't cause himself another injury. and plays to the form that Robert has mentioned. He came back into a really good vein of form. He scored a couple of goals, and that's what you're looking for from. We seemed kind of weak in the midfield. He started building a wee bit of. I thought anyway when they played together with Tom Lawrence. I think they two together would make good midfield players. Because Lawrence a wee bit further ahead, and let him feed him. Can't they'll use him for wee flicks and so on and so forth. It's great to watch.
Scott Croce Bridge, we've been enjoying with Bob Jer, I think. Bob Jer, how are we doing?
I'm doing alright, pal. No feeling very well alright, but that's no like me. Welcome to hypochondria after.
That's not because of the Rangers at the weekend, is it?
I know. I'm just in with the dog. Yeah. Well, here we go to Thursday. Big game on Thursday. We'll go on to redeem ourselves after a poor performance at the weekend. But so will Benfica want to redeem themselves, so it makes for a hell of a game on Thursday. I'm hoping the Jars can stand up to it and be all right. And I'm very confident we will. There's a heavy period coming up. When we get to this international break unscathed in the league, I'll be quite happy. I think there's a general feeling among them. I wouldn't say the majority of the Rangers supporters, but a lot of the Rangers supporters will be forfeit this Europe for to leave room, leave scope for to win the league, or leave scope, I should say, no scope. And I'm beginning to feel like that myself. Does any of you feel that way?
Bob Jarrett, we were touching on it earlier, mate. I think we're asking like the kind of question is that, like, is Europe going to be a bit of a distraction for us? But we kind of took some of the points that the players enjoy playing games rather than training. So maybe it'll be a welcome addition in the sense that it'll give players minutes, and plus it gives them an opportunity to showcase themselves in the top competition. Robert, you want to come in with that, mate? And Bob, just point.
It certainly could become a bit of a hindrance, Bob Jer. I think it's scenario based. If we were sitting here now talking 5 points clear, you'd say, right, league's parked up with 5 points clear. Let's go and have a good shot at Europe. But we're not. We're sitting 2 points clear on the back of defeat with another injury added to the list. So you can't predict football. If we could, it would be great, but we can't. So certainly, as GB says, it keeps the players ticking over rather than dwelling on a defeat and waiting a week to the next one. It gets a game there and can get it out of your system. We touched on it earlier. A good performance is what we're wanting away from home. If we get a win, fantastic. Half a win won't be disheartened if we go through, and I won't be disheartened if we go out, because for me, the league is a priority, and that's a gateway to the Champions League where we can really kick on. Clermont can get the transfer budget. We can kick on away and romp the league next season as well. And then we're back in the Champions League, straight to the group stages as well. So there's bigger prizes for me at the end of the marathon than there is just now in the Europe stage.
Bob Jer, is it fair to say that this maybe is like a free hit? I mean, in the sense of what we are wanting to prioritise, that we go out there and we just try our best, and as much as what I says, it's we want to win everything, and Clermont wants to win everything. He's stated that 100 times, but I'm in kind of agree with Robert, is that I'll be over the moon if we get through, but I won't be taking any negativity if we don't.
Aye, I don't think it would be an absolute major disappointment if we didn't, especially this year. I think the most frustrating point this week is that we could have been and should have been sitting 5 points in front of them. But we're involved in the most unpredictable game in the world, the greatest game in the world, the old football. We are where we are. We've done great, fantastic to get where we are in the league. As I said earlier on, I hope we can get to this international break unscathed in the league, get a few people back and get gone again. That's our priority. Europe will take care of itself. It's great to be involved in Europe, to have the European games through the week. We're so used to it. We've had it year after year. We've carried the coefficiency of the country on our back, and here we are doing it again. But I get a feel I didn't care what percentage of the support would look at it, but it wouldn't be too much a disappointment if we got put early, or if we got put at this stage. But we're Glasgow Rangers, and when they talk about defeats, lads, it's all gone round in circles. We'll see what evolves. We'll see what evolves, I should say. Obviously, we're wanting Rangers to win. We're always wanting Rangers to win. So,
aye, Bob, that's fine. We want them to win, but we're realistic as well, aren't we? Bridgeman, that's
absolutely
fine. We want to perform well. We want to showcase our players, and like I says, we want to go as in deep competitions as we can. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's just out with your grasp with the way money is nowadays and what the type of player you're up against.
Well, I mean, we said, we're on a real club. I mean, we've suffered for a sequence, and dare I say, bad managers and bad signings, and it's hindered us in the past. Usually at this time of year, we're long gone in the league championship. We're looking at 7, 8, 9 points behind us. So, do we've got a real chance to win the league? And I mean, a real chance. And this is what we want. We all want to win the league and be champions and get in that Champions League and take the financial rewards it brings. Of course we do. But the financial awards in the European European tournament that we're in. And Benfica will be a big obstacle. But Rangers are a big obstacle. That's another 90 minutes. Come on, Gers, let's get up and go for it. Because we're always wanting Rangers to win, lads, aren't we? Of course we are.
Mm-hmm. Bridge, you want to come in on that, mate?
Yeah, well, we do always want Rangers to win, for sure. And personally speaking, I know that Robert was saying, and of course Bob just saying the same thing or similar, that they don't see it as if we get beat, we get beat. I want us to go and show that we want to win. Shows that they want to win. Defend for your lives and so on and so forth. And if we can come away with from anything without getting mauled, then I'd be really delighted. I'd be really, really happy if we got a draw, and I'd be over the moon if we got a victory. Because we're not a bad team when we turn it on. And we've got a lot of players that, based on the weekend's results of our game, they weren't there. Some of them never even turned up. So they've got a lot to do. A bit of luck with players coming back would be really nice to help us out. That'd be wonderful. And get in there and just do it, Rangers. Play for yourself. Be proud. Be Rangers. Are you ready? Go for it.
Robert, I think one player in the game on Thursday might be Silva. He'll be wanting to make a wee point, I think, going out to play against Benfica.
I'd start him, to be honest with you, mate. Based on that, he has came from the Portuguese league. He's played for Porto. He knows the environment. He'll know, although it's a few years ago, he'll know how Benfica are. He'll know the kind of position, and as you say, he'll kind of thrive in that, I think. And you may see that the game kind of plays into his hands. He's a very creative, tactical player that he likes to drop deep, and he's got a bit of flair about him. In this game, the way it opens up in Europe, it might just suit him, and we might see the Fabio Silva with that £35 million price tag that Wolves bought him, that why we've brought him to our club. And again, if he does the business and he could score a goal or create a chance for somebody else, it'll give him a boost as well. And as you say, it gives him a kind of fire in the belly because it is against Benfica. So I'd start him on Thursday. But as I said, we're kind of running out of ideas in the front line of who we start. It's almost a case of who doesn't start now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Bob, that's the thing, isn't it? This game on Thursday earlier, there's got to be space for our players to play because you've got an opposition there that's wanting to attack as well. So we've been brilliant on the counter in Europe.
Well, we have. I mean, we've done absolutely fantastic in this tournament. God, we were in the final 2 years ago. That's a major achievement especially for an SPL club. Oh, definitely. I'm getting to a European final, for God's sake. But it's still beyond the bounds of possibility that we can go past Benfica, as big a club as them. We're as big as them. And Fabio Silva, it's your native land, and you know the lie of the land so well, coming through Portugal. So get out there and turn it on, son. You can gain a chance for the Rangers, get out and do us a favour. You're not getting any cluggers in the SPL at you on Thursday night, I wouldn't think. Not that I'm saying Benfica can't clug, but you know what I mean. It's not the hammer throwers of Scottish football you're up against. You're up against culture players like yourself. Go out and show how good you are, son. It's not all down to you, it's down to the team, but you're fine to Rangers, but you get to see the best of you. Let's see the best of you on Thursday night. That's my message to the boy and the team.
Aye, well said, mate. Well said. Bridge, again, Silva. I think he'll be itching to get a start and get out there and show his quality. I think the boy's career's kind of stalled a wee bit since he's went to Wolves. He's been kind of passed about from loan to loan. I think, again, it's a perfect game for probably him to go out there and show his worth.
Well, you know, they call it, it's his moment to shine, yeah? I would suggest. This is his time to shine. Just go and do it, son. Yes, it's set up for you. The stage is set. The stage is there. You go and stand on the stage and tell everybody how good you are. I mean, maybe relatives in the crowd. I mean, we don't know. I think he's due showing himself he can play football, and in turn showing everybody else he's a really good player, and why maybe Wolves paid what was it, £40 million or something close to
35.
35. There you go. So I think it'd be wonderful for him. Get out there and do it, and all the rest of us can follow on. The rest of the players can play the same way and do the business. It's a fabulous opportunity for the Glasgow Rangers Football Club and the fans. This is wonderful, just wonderful. I'm so happy, so happy.
I tell you, the good thing about opening up the questions to the social media side is you do get folk that folk are at it sometimes. I've just had a message saying just to let you know that Ryan Jack will be back in the squad as well, so it'll be a welcome addition. They him to Jack, but there's a few out there that question Jack's I don't know, sometimes his injury ability. So he'll be welcome back as long as he puts in the previous performances that he's had. Robert, your thoughts, mate?
I know it's getting late and I really should be getting to my bed at my age, right? And this will sound ridiculous. I would start him. As much as that may sound an absolute shock, I would start Ryan Jack.
Well,
Bridgman,
you were condemning the midfield at the weekend there, mate. Ryan Jack, one thing about him, he knows how to get stuck in. It's we just don't want him to get stuck in too much in case he hurts himself.
Yeah, that's one player, based on his recent history, that's one player that has to watch his P's and Q's. But when he plays well, then he's a really good player. And he is a Ranger. He's a Rangers man as far as I know. So I think we wouldn't do too much wrong in playing Ryan Jack, because he gets in there and he picks the ball up and things like that. He even scores the odd goal. So there you are. He's got a mixture. No. Why not? Why not? Because we haven't got. We've got a lot of midfielders missing. So put Ryan Jack in. But let him shine. Let's see if he's fit enough. If he's fit enough, put him in. Let him shine.
Bob, I think, like, say, Bridge and Robert make a good point. Like, the midfield, like, young Raskin he is still coming back for injury. You can see that. And he's still needing that kind of match sharpness about him. Granted, Jack's probably coming back for injury and all, but I think there's been times when Jack and Lundstrom, when they've been together in that midfield, that they have looked pretty solid. And again, I think we're going to need a bit of steel in that midfield on Thursday.
Absolutely. I agree with Robert's point there about starting Ryan Jack. I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Ryan Jack's got a hell of a lot of European experience at the back. And he's an excellent player, Ryan Jack, when he's on his game. He holds up the ball very well, passes the ball very well. So, depending on his fitness, I don't see why not. You're not going to be afraid of sticking Ryan Jack in the team. He's been out of the course that many times. He knows what it's about. Maybe gear him so much and then bring on Raskin to see how we go on. So, yes, I would agree with that point. Ryan Jack, highly experienced player.
Well, that's it's probably Bridge and Robert. I don't think you'll be on the show before Thursday. Bob Jer, you might phone in again, but if you don't, let's hear your team quickly then. So I'll go to Bridge first. Bridge, go and shout out your team that you'd like to see on Thursday.
Oh my God, I don't even know who's fit.
Don't just go with the ones that you know are no fit, mate. So
I would put the team that played on Saturday has to be a minus McCausland, of course, you know. That's got to be the main body of the squad for going out, the team going out there. The guys that we spoke about might be fit enough. If they are, then we could swap them in. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the guys finished the game. Who came in for what do you call him, for McCausland? Was that Seamer that came on? No, Seamer. God almighty, Silva. Was it Silva?
Yep, Silva, aye.
He came on. So I'll be playing him. I'll most assuredly be playing him. And the rest of them, they pick themselves. And yeah, we just mentioned there Ryan Jack. Well, would you start Ryan Jack? Well, some folk would. So you would do without Rascan and put Ryan Jack in. Yeah, that would be simple. If Cantwell's available, maybe you'll only keep him until second half, I don't know. But I would certainly play Dessers. Most assuredly, Dessers would be playing for me. I don't know, out in the right wing, don't know whether I'd move Silva out there, you know, and put, what was his name, Sterling back a wee bit, you know, into the midfield somewhere for a bit of dig if necessary, you know. So that's the way I would look at it, you know. Silva could play either right or left of what's the big man up there, this Dessers.
Big Dessers.
I would say him and Silva could play two up front. I think they're both capable of doing it. And as long as they talk to each other to say where they're going to be and give me the ball now, that kind of, you know. Mm-hmm. Although you're not allowed to say that in football, as you know.
Robert, you shout out your team quickly, mate, since it's no problem here for Thursday.
Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Yilmaz, Lundstrom, Jack, Sterling, Silva, Lawrence, Dessers, 4-2-3-1, but flexible to go to a 4-3-1-2 with Dessers and Silva up top with Lawrence in the 10.
Nice, mate. Nice. Bob J, how are you feeling about that one, mate?
Oh, I'm absolutely going along with that, but the only problem with this is Yilmaz can't play because Beale didn't include him in the European squad, if you remember. Or am I wrong? I don't know.
He's been added in, but it's Cortez.
Has he been added in? He can't play all that. That's nothing against Bonabara, but that's been good. If he's been added in, that's fine. I'm pleased with that. I will be able to put you a capable offside on Thursday night. I have to go along with it. I hate picking teams. I don't know who's fit and who's not fit. What have you? Plus, the old memories know what it was. But yeah, I would go along with that. I go along with what you said, Brett. Definitely. I'll put Silva on the right wing. Aye.
Right, Bob, we're reaching that time of the night, mate. So just final thoughts for yourself.
Oh, great to be on again. Absolutely fantastic. As always, the best show in town. I keep saying it's the only show you come on. It gets better every time you're on it. So good luck to the Bears. I'll probably hear for you tomorrow. So good night for the moment, lads.
Cheers, Bob J. Thank you very much for phoning in, bud.
Take care, Bob J.
Take care, boys. Catch you later, eh? Bye-bye.
Over to yourself, Robert. Just final thoughts, mate, and the outlook for Thursday.
Good to be on again, mate. Especially with yourself and the legend, that's Bridge. Obviously, a bit of a bad start to the weekend. Picked ourselves up on Sunday, thanks to Hearts. So now it's back to ourselves, back to the European stage, and hopefully go and get a good performance and a result that keeps us in a tie on Thursday. Be interesting to see and looking forward to it, mate.
Cheers, bud. And over at Bridge, man, European football isn't for everybody, Bridger.
Oh, obviously not, but I'm a lover of European football. Have been since I was a young lad. When we started seeing great European teams coming over here, great Real Madrid, great Inter Milan as they were then. But they were all fabulous to watch. Bayern Munich, all these teams came over. And I was very pleased to be going to see them. And I fell in love with it. I love the razzmatazz that goes with it. I love the fans and the club's just brilliant. So I hope it all happens for us on Thursday night, for sure. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in here, all over the world, this biggest game coming up Thursday night, huge game, biggest game of the season, our last biggest game of the season, it fell flat on us. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again, Rangers. Come on, everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers need us massively. Keep it going.
Brilliant, Bridge. Big thanks to yourself, Bridge, and Robert tonight for being on the panel with us. Great points, and that's kept the chat going brilliantly. Big thanks to Bob Jeff for phoning in. Big thanks to the techie boys in the background, Fox and Old School Blue. A big thanks to everybody on the social media side of things for putting in their questions for the show tonight. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night talking about all things Glasgow Rangers. Good night.